Monday Insights here at 1 Degree Outside Weather Network. Of course, Insights is the deeper dive into the meteorology behind the forecast. Why are we forecasting what we are, right? Look, it's quiet for a couple of days, then the midweek turns busier. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the snow, rain, and mix line that comes into play with the next couple of storms. We're going to talk about the repeating weekend pattern. We think that after getting a midweek system like we have the last few weeks, we'll get probably a weekend system like we have the last few weeks, and actually even not this week, but next week. You might get another midweek system. It's just been in kind of this repeating pattern. Just a reminder, running out of time to use the promo code 10% off awesome gourmet farmer-made foods. Go to our website homepage, 1degreeoutside.com. Scroll down till you see the Berry Hill Farm ad there. Click on the link and use that promo code. Take advantage of the discounts that we work hard with our partners to bring you, again, the promo code, the number 1 degree. All right, meanwhile, we're talking about a jet stream that is fast and mostly flat down to our south. You look at this and you say, well, if you get anything in the immediate term, it should mostly go south of New England. Yeah, you'd be absolutely right. A storm coming off the lee of the Rocky Mountains will grab Gulf of Mexico moisture, and here it goes. Yes, it may graze far southern New England. We're going to dive into that in a minute, but it mostly misses, at least in terms of the brunt of it. And then getting into Wednesday, well, this next one grabs a ton of moisture, plus it comes with a lot of Pacific moisture. So that's great. The only thing, if you're a snow lover, is it's going to have moisture with it that comes northward with warmth. And so you've got a good chance of going to a mix or going to rain at some point. It'll snow first. Let's get into it, okay? You can see a cold front coming through the upper Great Lakes and the upper Midwest over the course of the day today, reinforcing the chill for the nation's northern tier. Coming through us over the course of our Tuesday. But here's the warmth getting gathered by the next storm, and that's why when it rides north, you're likely to change snow over to sleet and rain, but not before you get some accumulation. So let's dive into it. We'll start with that cold front that I mentioned comes in tomorrow, because it does have an impact if you're a skier or a snowmobiler. A lot of the North Country gets at least some snow showers on our Tuesday afternoon. In fact, it should be like a general 1 to 3 inches that comes down in the mountains. And some of the favored spots, like the northwest and west-facing slopes, may actually get 2 to 4 inches out of those snow showers when Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening. But notice Tuesday night, a lot of that starts to dry up. Here's the storm down to the south. Tuesday evening, 10:30, you've got some snow coming into southwest Connecticut. Now, if I go through and stop things around 3:30 in the morning on Wednesday, that's kind of the farthest northern extent to the snow. Notice it's like the Mass Connecticut border, Mass Rhode Island border, southeastern Mass. Probably doesn't make it to Boston. Admittedly, we'll watch it carefully because we're right on the edge of it here. But I'd put the chance in Boston at only 20 to 30% of getting into this snow. Now, having said that, if you're at the South Coast, not only does it snow in the overnight, but even by 7 o'clock in the morning, as it starts to turn around, you're still snowing at the Cape, the islands, the far South Coast. You'll get some accumulation. During the course of Wednesday, that pulls away. Just so you know, Wednesday, we do set up an easterly wind between high pressure to our north, pumping cold air on a northeast and east wind, and then a storm down to the south with a counterclockwise flow also helping that east wind. What I'm telling you here is Wednesday, we're adding ocean moisture into cold air. That should give us ocean effect snow showers spraying into eastern Massachusetts on Wednesday, developing at some point in the morning. You don't see a lot here. I don't know that it's going to be that heavy, but there is the chance for at least a coating of snow to come down over the course of the day Wednesday, and then that almost just morphs into the Wednesday evening system, because by later Wednesday evening, the snow is overspreading the area. There is plenty of cold air. We should snow Wednesday evening and night all the way down to the south coast, but again, we talked about the warmth that's coming in, which should give us a period of sleet for a lot of, especially the interior, but perhaps not even just the interior. For southern and central New England, you'll make a change to sleet during the course of Thursday early morning. We will snow several inches in the mountains. Early to say in amounts farther south, probably 2 to 4 with 1 to 3 in far southern New England on the burst of snow that comes in before you get that mix to sleet. But again, early to say, we'll kind of continue to fine tune that. And then as we get into Thursday, any raindrops in the morning come to an end in southern New England. You probably continue with a mix across the north, and that pulls out. And again, when you look at the big map Friday off to the west, a lot of moisture from the Pacific, next system coming in. That's the one that we expect is going to be in here probably Saturday night or Saturday evening into Sunday of next weekend, by the way it looks now. Total amount of snow. Well, you know, out of that Tuesday cold front, there's the kind of 1 to 2 with maybe a little bit of 2 to 4 that shows up in some of the upslope favored spots. And here is a coating in Connecticut, Rhode Island, southeastern Mass. But if you look carefully, let me zoom in a little bit. We actually do have a good solid 1 to 2 painted on the island of Nantucket. We also have the very same thing hugging the immediate south coast. So you do get a little snow out of this, southwest Connecticut as well, as that comes on by. And again, we'll watch it farther to the north, but at this point, it doesn't look like we're going to definitely get into that one. All right. Then in terms of the jet stream pattern getting out later in the week, look, this says a lot. When we talk about that midweek system and we talk about the mix, you say, well, is there any way we could get out of going over to a mix? Probably not, but you're going to get snow on the front side, as I mentioned. But you can see the jet stream really does ride north. It's carrying some warmth with it. And like so many of our events so far this year, really the snow that comes in here is just being driven by a pulse of warmth and moisture that's coming into the eastern United States. Same exact thing going into the upcoming weekend. In fact, almost even more so, right? And that would be the case, too, as we get out into the middle of next week with that system. So if you look at the day-by-day numbers, it kind of makes sense as to why it matches up the way it does, right? Tuesday's temperatures, lower 30s for many of us, 20s in the north. Here comes the cold front, the snow showers we talked about in northern New England, reinforcing the cold, too cold and dry to get the snow to spread too far north during the overnight Tuesday night. That's why the South Coast maintains the best chance, and far southern New England as well. You get into Wednesday, and it looks like, again, that onshore wind starts developing out of the north-northeast early, but out of the east-northeast later in the day. And it's cold enough, you'll generate those ocean effect snow showers. You deal with the snow Wednesday night that we looked at, and Thursday, there's that warmth coming in, but the precipitation is kind of shutting down. So I guess what I'm saying is if you've got a snowmobile trail that finally opened in southern New Hampshire, central or western Massachusetts, I wouldn't fret too much over the change to raindrops. You're very likely to get more snow than you would lose it on the tail end of the system. And Friday, you kind of lock it back up with a cold that'll be back in place for us all across the board. Track the forecast anytime, right? Our app, totally free way to do it. Noyes is 1 degree outside weather on the App Store and Google Play. Thank you so much, as always, for checking in right here. We'll have pattern predictions for you coming up in just a little while.